Thank you. It's really a pleasure to be here today. For me, this is a very personal day, and I'd like to tell you a little bit of why I believe that this is one of the most important initiatives we have ever embarked on in New York City. Many people think that pre-kindergarten is daycare. They think it's a great place to park your children, pick them up at the end of the day, and if they come out safe and sound, they're happy. I'm here to tell you it's anything but that. Yesterday, there was a milestone in my life. My youngest grandchild started nursery school. Now, I don't want to tell you this was easy. So Sunday, my husband and I went out with presents, clothes for his new day at school, books so that he'll have something to read when he comes home, and tissues for my daughter, who is already going through an anxiety period because she's thoroughly convinced he will not thrive without her by his side. So as we arrived and I started to talk to Ford, he is totally oblivious to the experience he was going to have yesterday. So of course, even though I'm working and trying to keep to all my appointments, I must have called like every hour on the hour. And let me tell you exactly what my daughter has told me, and I hope to get a full story tonight. Ford did not like going into nursery school for the first time. He cried and cried and cried. And the reality is that by crying, my daughter got more nervous and more nervous and more nervous. A word of warning, guys, hold the mother's hands as much as the kids' hands, okay? Because they think it's a failure on their part that the child isn't ready to walk in like every other child. And the reality is it's a scary situation, and it's a small group setting, but nevertheless, one of the jobs that you have is to make sure that with the crying and everything, that you extend your hand and welcome them. And this teacher did a phenomenal job, and basically what she told my daughter to do is go sit in the car and not to come back to the classroom. Now, what she didn't know, because one of the things the school realized that he's a very active little boy, so they put him in the active group. Now, I don't know what an active group is. I was never an early childhood teacher, but most of it was outdoors. It was a beautiful day. So my daughter sat herself in her car with her zoom lens camera and started taking pictures, of which I have several now, of him trying to fit into the group. And the teacher very carefully bent down on his level, talked to him, whispered to him, and made sure that he got to talk to other children. There was a total of 5 kids in this class. When I tell you it's nursery school, it's nursery school. But several things happened, and it was funny because, you know, she grew up as the daughter of a teacher, and she certainly should have been aware of this. First and foremost, the teacher made a personal connection. And I really hope that all of you understand that one of the things you do in pre-kindergarten is make that personal connection with every one of your 18 kids. It's crucial. It's not, in the upper grades it's important. In your grades, it's crucial. Second thing she did is look for one other child in the group that he could become friends with. We have always said early childhood is about socialization. And many of the kids coming to school for the first time at that age really haven't had play dates. You know, play date is an American phenomenon, and it happens to hit certain people at certain ages, and I just think that a lot of parents really keep their kids home and play with them, but for them to learn to play with other children and share, it's an academic goal, and it's something that's going to hold them in good stead for the rest of their lives. So how you match kids to kids and make sure you put situations where they can talk is important. The other thing that I think was crucial about what happened yesterday, just from the snapshots I've gotten, remember the snapshots are very far away because the zoom lens could only get so far, she let him do his thing. And a 4-year-old needs to do his thing. So you see him twirling, you see him going one direction, then you see him going another direction, and I think certainly for the first few days it's important to get the tempo of the kids, and you move with the tempo, not have the kids move with your tempo. Part of early childhood is really understanding what they need, and movement is one of the things that they need. So I thought that was very important. So I do think that the social importance of this, the personal importance of being a teacher to young children is crucial. And the third thing is, which I've been saying all over the city, but here I have it on a very personal level, is make sure they learn something new every day. And one of the things I'd love to see every child come home with is a new word. And one of the first things I said to Mia, so did Ford learn a new word? She said, Mom, we're not giving him a test day 1, lay off. And the reality is, yes, it's important, but you can be sure when I visit him this weekend, I'm gonna say, Ford, what did you learn in school? You know, what did you learn that you didn't know before? And I think that one of the joys of UPK is really the sense of that the world is opening to them, that they're going to go to a block corner and build something that maybe they haven't been able to do in their house, or create something in the art corner that they can take home with pride. All of you have seen refrigerators loaded down with artwork, right? That point of pride that something you've produced is something other people can see is really, really important. So I want to say to you very carefully and really very, purposefully, this is not babysitting. You are setting the trend for this child who's going to go to school for the first time for the rest of their lives. If they come home happy over time, you will have started them on a career path to loving school. And it's really, really important. We also have to make sure that parents understand that loving school means bringing the kids to school every day. And they need to see the sense of worth that this is not something they can choose on the days they want it and not on the days they don't. So your engagement with parents, particularly when you have social workers assigned to you and mentor teachers, look to see how you can convince parents that this is a very special privilege that we're putting on the table that they need to take advantage of completely. So I'm really kind of jealous that you're going to have the opportunity to be on the front lines to see all these 4-year-olds taking advantage. One of the things that my daughter managed to slip, and I don't know how she managed to casually slip in the conversation with the director of the school, but the director said, oh, if your mother wants to come and visit any time, invite her. Well, you can be sure it's not going to take more than once to invite me for me to be there, because I'm going to be wearing my eyes, and I'm going to be visiting a lot of classrooms citywide also to see what guys you're doing that I can take out to Long Island where my daughter lives. I also want to wish you things. I hope that you will have wonderful experiences with your children, but I hope you personally will come out of this experience also a changed person. How many of you are already teaching pre-K? Raise your hands. Oh, that's great. So this year, I'm asking you to really focus on 3 things. First and foremost, enjoy the undivided adoration. 4-year-olds love their teachers. They follow them, right? How many of them, your kids love you to death, right? Absolutely. Everything you wear is perfect. Everything you say is wonderful. They go home and say, my teacher said. Now, I have to tell you, in my history, I've taught my own 2 daughters. They used to say it about every teacher, but never the year they had me. They never came home and said, my teacher said. But you, they're going to adore. They're going to model themselves after you. They're going to want to be you. And I think it's really important that you take full advantage of that and, to the degree possible, create the good citizens of tomorrow. I also know that this is the age where parents really are going to have a lot more interaction with you because they miss their kids, they're used to having them more at home, they're used to seeing them in a different way. So gaining the respect of the parents means that these parents will become lifelong parents involved in their schools. And I wish you the joy of the parents who email me on a regular basis and say, I can't thank you enough for putting Mrs. So-and-so in my child's class. She has made such a difference, not just to my child, but to my family and to everything that we do. I cannot tell you how many mothers citywide have told me, and fathers too, but mothers in particular, how they're going to be using this as an opportunity to go back to work full-time. And you can be sure that for many mothers who are going back to work full-time and having their children in school, there's going to be an anxiety period when they want to call. You know, you can't have a camera in your classroom, thank God, but they would have, zoned in on a regular basis. But hearing from you, even a short note that says your child did great in school today, is going to make their workplace a lot happier for them, but also the respect and the relationship with you and them is going to be profound and is going to make a difference for the rest of their lives. And the last thing that I wish you is personal satisfaction. I think one of the things that maybe we haven't gotten quite right in education is really emphasizing the importance of early childhood teachers. We are very confident that teachers who get the kids into college are really stars, and I think that's important, but college starts with 4-year-olds. Many of your kids are going to get their first language skills in pre-K. Many of your kids are coming in non-English speaking. They're going to learn to speak English. I learned to speak English when I was a kindergartner. I did not go to school as an English-speaking child. And I think what you're going to do is personal satisfaction, because my wish for you is that you go home every day, and after you take your nap, because you're going to need it the first few weeks of school, right? No, I remember, believe me. You say, today I made a difference. And I'm here to tell you, thank you for making that difference for New York City 4-year-olds. Thank you.